Part 17. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 164. There is an internal bell room on the top floor of a Western-style clock tower, with copper hanging bells of different calibers built inside. At this time, in the corner, a gray wolf doll spent a lot of effort to force a palm-sized chicken doll into the corner. The chicken doll's fur was dirty, and it was shivering in front of the half-meter-tall big bad wolf doll, unable to retreat. "Brother Lee, I really didn't know you were here. I didn't hide in the bell tower on purpose." A man's cry came from the chicken doll. When Lee Ji in the gray wolf doll heard this cry, he did not enjoy it as usual and only felt a chill. "But I don't care about the little chicken doll. If I can save my life, I can let him dress up as a woman and wear black stockings. And, there are still 7 minutes left, the hunting time of the 45th round is over, and the chicken doll happens to be the hunter player in the 46th round. Hold on for another 7 minutes. After 7 minutes, it won't be clear who is the hunter and who is the prey." The little chicken doll was making dark calculations in his heart, and a trace of greed inevitably arose. If you can counter-kill Lee Ji and inherit his points, you will make a fortune. Lee Ji didn't know what the chicken doll was planning, but he also understood the principle of long nights and many dreams. He said coldly, "Oh, you hid in and found my hiding place. Do you think I will let you go?" As soon as he finished speaking, the soft body of the gray wolf doll glowed with a cold metallic silver light. This was the function of a game prop, hardening the whole body so that the soft body of the doll also had the hardness and collision force of stone. In the dungeon rules, prey players are not allowed to directly attack the hunter player's body, but there is no mention that they cannot attack the doll body of the same prey player. This is a text loophole deliberately set up by the copy, and it is also a hidden rule. Players who can discover more hidden rules and even figure out the main thread of the dungeon will have a greater chance of survival. Lee Ji was also in the body of a doll now. If he delayed for a second longer, he would be at risk of being discovered by a hunter player. He ignored the cry of the chicken doll and approached the ladder with a sense of oppression. Seeing this, the chicken doll stopped crying, and its voice suddenly became fierce and sharp. "Lee Ji, I am also a LV5 player, don't think that I am easy to bully." Having said that, the originally timid chicken doll suddenly became powerful and majestic. Whoosh! The whole body of the chicken doll burned with blue flames, but strangely, those blue flames did not ignite the body of the chicken doll, which was made of cloth and cotton wool. When Lee Ji saw the blue flames, he took 2 steps back. The little chicken doll laughed wildly like a villain. "Lee Ji, do you really think you are so awesome? The next round of hunting time is your grandpa's home field. Now you know you are scared, right? Ha 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 ha. Eh? Did I come at the wrong time?" At this time, an innocent and soft female voice broke the stalemate between the two dolls. Sutingu appeared on the top steps of the bell tower with a smile, looking at the two dolls, his eyes, as if he was staring at some unparalleled and delicious snack. "Hunter player." The two dolls were startled and ran away in opposite directions without saying a word. As a prey player, you cannot take the initiative to attack the hunter player directly, and you don't know the hiding spot of the hunter player doll that suddenly appears. How can you do this? Of course, run. Seeing the two prey running in different directions, Sutingu was not in a hurry. He waved his hand and threw out 7 neat little broken flowers. After the little broken flower landed on the ground, it straightened up and waved out the cane. In a few seconds, all possible escape exits inside the bell tower were tightly blocked. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 165. Because the doll body is too small, no matter how flexible it is, it cannot run very fast. Moreover, this is a bell tower. Apart from the wooden windows dozens of meters above the ground, the only exit is the steps that Sutingu has been blocking behind. The two dolls were trapped in a circle by overlapping canes and did not dare to move rashly. The chicken doll screamed wow, and the blue flames on his body suddenly soared like a chicken blood, and his aura instantly reached 3.8 meters. Sutingyu responded to the situation very promptly and exclaimed, "Roast chicken." I saw that the 3.8-meter chicken doll with a ignited aura felt that he was ready again, took out firm and powerful chicken feet, and then plunged into the cane. The chicken doll's plan is very simple, and that is to burn the cane. Create an opportunity to escape. But the chick doll ignored that this was no ordinary rattan, but the evil god flower rattan. Facing the small roasted chicken that was launched with great momentum, one of the small broken flowers ran in front of all the companions with a thump thump thump. The flower buds swelled, became bigger, and bloomed all of a sudden, revealing the sharp fangs inside. Wow wow wow. Take one bite and hold the roasted chicken in your mouth. Wisps of black smoke floated from the small cracks in the flower buds. The little broken flower chewed a few times, and the inside was filled with cloth and cotton wool. It was not delicious at all and was difficult to swallow. So the little roast chicken was spit out. Tisk, tisk. Sutingyu looked sympathetic and raised the corners of her mouth slightly. The little chicken doll that had been tortured by the little broken flowers was already riddled with holes and was immediately scrapped. Sutingyu gained 10 more points. 5 seconds later, the player body of the chicken doll appeared. It was a strong muscular man with a gloomy face, and he was about to deliver a series of long Aotian's arrogant words. In front of his eyes, a crescent-like sword flashed past. A cut appeared on the chicken player's neck without warning, and then, blood spurted out from the wound. Finally, what was reflected in his eyes was, a sickle in the girl's hand. 1 second. 2 seconds. A body crashed to the ground. 4 game items fell next to the corpse. Sutingyu didn't rush to pick it up. She calmly put away the knife and turned her attention to the other doll. Huh? Where are the dolls? Sutingyu was no longer calm now. Why did the grey wolf doll disappear in just a blink of an eye? There is nothing in the encirclement. At this time, Sutingyu seemed to see the air on the edge of the rattan undulating like waves. Wrong. There's something sneaky there. It's a grey wolf doll. He actually became transparent. He's there. Catch him. Sutingyu pointed in the direction of the grey wolf doll, reminding the little Kanhuas, and ran there quickly. There was a closed wooden window on the edge over there. Li Ji spent a rare disposable prop just to fight for this way out. Seeing that he had been discovered, Li Ji no longer tried to cover up. Taking advantage of the prop still being in effect, he climbed up to the top of the vine wall made of rattan. When the little flowers didn't even react. With his whole body hardened, he hit the closed wooden window. Boom! Wooden windows shattered. The grey wolf doll fell downstairs along with several pieces of broken wood. Sutingyu arrived a few steps late and could only watch as the grey wolf doll landed safely. After landing, the transparency effect on the grey wolf doll disappeared. Sutingyu also saw that the grey wolf doll raised its head and looked at her, then raised one hand and bent it down, vaguely resembling a signature provocative gesture. Erect middle finger. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 166. Li Ji is now a doll, so it doesn't matter if he jumps off a bell tower dozens of meters high. He had concluded that Sutingyu did not dare to jump. Hence the provocation. Seeing this, Sutingyu slightly raised his lips and suddenly shouted below. The 5th-ranked demon hunter is under the clock tower. Points delivered to your door. First come, first served. Loud sound waves spread out in all directions from the top of the clock tower, and the hunter players in the area around the clock tower were confused when they heard this strange shout. etc. Demon Hunter. Even though the nearby Hunter players were confused, they still couldn't help but have some delusional thoughts. What if it's true? What if the Demon Hunter dies in his own hands? People always take chances. After Sutingyu's roar became known to everyone, the pride in Li Ji's heart disappeared, and he almost wanted to curse. But his reason told him to run away quickly. On the bell tower, Sutingyu watched the little figure of the grey wolf doll disappear among the children coming and going, and shook his head regretfully. Turn around and go back and pick up the game items dropped by the chicken player. Then walk down the bell tower. At this time, there were 5 hunter players attracted by Sutingyu, all of them men. Although there are many children on the highways extending in all directions near the clock tower, they are too short and the player is an ordinary adult. If you stand among the children, no disguise will work because you are too tall and you can tell at a glance. It's the player. As soon as these 5 players met, they all became wary of each other. This is not just a game where hunter players hunt prey players. Since prey players can directly attack each other, the same goes for hunter players. Li Ji slipped away so fast that he disappeared before the 5 players arrived. Seeing that time is running out, there is no way to find the next prey player. The 5 players made the same choice in this moment of thinking. Attack 4 other players. Each one uses all kinds of weird game props, which is bound to kill the other party. But slowly, the laughter around them gradually disappeared, and the cheerful and lively atmosphere seemed to be smeared with a thick color, becoming dull and depressing. The 5 players, all of whom suffered varying degrees of injuries, realized later that the surroundings suddenly became quiet. Look to the side. They were all shocked. The whole street was silent, and hundreds of pairs of eyes stared directly at the 5 people. The delicate and innocent faces were filled with creepy weirdness at this moment. A little girl wearing a pink princess dress suddenly said, "Why fight? Why bleed?" The voice was erratic, like he was questioning the 5 players, but also like he was mumbling to himself. Why fight? Why bleed? Why fight? Throughout the street, hundreds of children were speaking out one after another, going back and forth, asking questions to the 5 players over and over again. One player couldn't stand the weird atmosphere and wanted to escape, but there were too many children blocking the way. He accidentally pushed a little girl down. The little girl's delicate knees hit the cold ground, scratching a piece of skin, and a trace of blood flowed out, dyeing the little girl's skirt as clean as white clouds red. This push was like lighting the fuse in a powder keg. Hundreds of children surrounded the 5 players. Dozens of small hands in the innermost circle pulled the corners of the 5 players' clothes. Some children even climbed on the player's back and grabbed his hair. 5 players wanted to resist. But in the next second, their faces all changed, and they were horrified. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 167. The 5 players suddenly discovered with horror that their hands and feet had become weak, like limp dolls. The game props in their hands fell to the ground, and the inventory seemed to have disappeared, and they could not be found no matter how hard they looked. All the children rushed forward, and the 5 players were put down on the ground like dolls and played with wantonly. Some children stepped on the player's abdomen with their feet, some pulled out the player's tongue with their hands, some poked the player's eyeballs with their nails, and some used their teeth to bite the player's throat. Ah! Don't. Sutingyu hid behind the door of the bell tower, looking through the cracks in the door, witnessing the one-sided killing outside. Hiss! These 5 players are really 5 cups. When Sutingyu shouted, he didn't just want to make Li Ji angry. Everyone has run away, and if you can't anger him to death, then it's a loss. After Sutingyu found out in the bell tower that the grey wolf doll was the demon hunter Li Ji, he just wanted to wait and wait for the 2 players to lose both sides. Unexpectedly, there was a stalemate in the end. Moreover, The other chicken player is also the hunter player in the next round, so Sutinyu can't help delaying it any longer. The player Sutinyu chose to deal with first was, of course, the chicken player who would become the hunter in the next round. It's a pity that I accidentally let go of the big fish Li Ji. There is no other way, so just attract some small fish and shrimps to stop the loss in time. Sutinyu calculated well. When she went down the steps, she also slowed down and waited for the hunters and players below to kill each other before she picked up the missing ones. Unexpectedly, after such a delay, something so tragic would happen below. Tisk tisk. Terrible. Sutinyu sighed inwardly, staring outside without blinking, with no fear at all on his face. 1 died and dropped game items. 2 failed, 3 failed. It wasn't until all 5 players were torn into pieces like dolls that the overwhelming resentment of hundreds of children slowly subsided. Copy time, 22:57. Sutinyu glanced at the time. Well, there's not enough time. The children outside are like wandering ghosts, with blank and empty expressions on their faces, as if they are saying, why don't the dolls have to be torn apart? Who dares to run out at this time? Be the next doll to be torn apart? Who dares? A voice of surprise and confusion sounded. In an instant, hundreds of children turned their heads and stared directly at Sutinyu, who walked out from behind the gate. Sutinyu glanced at the bloody mosaic, turned around and asked with a calm expression, which naughty bad boy made this place dirty? Bad boy? The words fell. The eyes of hundreds of children suddenly showed a hint of guilt and anxiety after the prank was discovered. Sutinyu glanced around and finally focused on the little girl who broke her knee at the beginning. When he saw the wound on his knee, Sutinyu's eyes showed obvious pity, and he walked over quickly. Cute little angel, why are you injured? Does it hurt? As he spoke, Sutinyu took out a small medical kit from the inventory. Sutinyu squatted down, first rinsed the wound with saline, then used 0.5% iodophor to disinfect it, and finally applied red potion. During the process, Sutinyu's face exuded a strong maternal aura, but she kept muttering in her heart, that's right, right? Is this correct? After Sutinyu finished dealing with it, he looked up and saw that the little girl was already shy. Seeing Sutinyu looking at her, he said sweetly, thank you, sister. Tip for extra updates, okay. I'll leave the monthly ticket recharge tomorrow, okay. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 168. You're welcome, cute and beautiful little angel. Sutinyu stroked the little girl's head, and the latter's face suddenly turned red and her eyes were blurry. At this time, there seemed to be sparkle in the eyes of hundreds of children again, and they all looked at Sutinyu with their big, watery eyes. Ahem. Sutinyu took out some candies from her pocket, which she picked up in the candy store while searching the doll body. All food, services, and facilities in Children's Play City are free, and children don't have to spend a penny. However, before Sutinyu took it away, she also said hello to the adult NPC in the store. The latter smiled and showed no reaction. He must have been encouraging her to take it away. When seeing the candy, all the children's big eyes were filled with joy. Sutinyu handed out candy after candy. However, she only took a few dozen candies. There were hundreds of children here, which was not enough. The children who got the candy were extremely happy, while the children who didn't get the candy were extremely disappointed and stared at Sutinyu eagerly. What to do at this time? Sutinyu smiled at all the children with a mysterious face. All kinds of cute little angels, there is a candy shop over there with delicious star candies, you can go and try them. Really? Sister, the children asked all at once. Star candy is real. Sutinyu has seen it, but she has never tasted it, but the taste is not that bad. Sutinyu nodded with certainty, of course it's true. Sister, "Are you going with us?" the children asked again. Sutingyu shook her head and refused, with a sincere look on her face. "Sister wants to stay and clean up the trash, so all the little angels can go first. There are not many star candies left, so only the little angels who go first will get them." "Oh well. Sister, remember to come over after cleaning up the trash." "Goodbye, sister." Sutingyu waved her hand, watched the children go away, and then quickly picked up a bunch of game items that fell on the ground. After Sutingyu put the last game item into the inventory, this round of hunting time just ended. The 45th round of hunting ends and the 46th round of hunting begins. The 46th round of hunting time, 2300 hours minus 2320. 46th round hunter players, 4501 4600 doll brooch numbers. Sutingyu's body disappeared on the ground in front of the bell tower door, and his consciousness returned to the doll body in the pig shed at the ranch. "This time I went out and gained 150 points, which was an average result. Ranking 70th and losing, it means that in this round, there is a hunter player who gained more than her in the next 10 minutes and overtook her." Sutingyu stared at the panel and pondered for a moment, and his luck suddenly flashed through his mind. "That's definitely not the reason." Sutingyu refused for a second. The players she hunted were so useless that they didn't know how to compete with other dolls in their doll bodies, so few of them had points for her to inherit. Sutingyu lay in the haystack, scratching his head. He swiped through the information on the panel and saw a bunch of game items he had earned, and his mood gradually became beautiful. Now that there is nothing to do, Sutingyu has time to check the information of these game items one by one. The dropped game items are all random, one after another. Including the player who missed 5 cups in the end, there were 16 players and a total of 51 game items were obtained. In the first 10 minutes, of the 10 players eliminated, 8 players each exploded 2 pieces, and 2 players each exploded 3 pieces. Later, the chicken player exploded 4 pieces, and the 5 cup players probably exploded 5 pieces each because they provoked public anger. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 169. After Sutingyu counted the quantities, he felt why the explosion rate in front was so low. Was it either 2 or 3? Forget it, as long as you have it, it's okay. People should be content with what they have. Sutingyu comforted herself while picking up a bead. Bathing in fire pearl. It belongs to that chick player, right? It will take effect when placed directly on the decoration bar, and the whole body will be ignited with flames. Sutingyu took a look at the panel and found that there was an extra one in the personal information. Decorative railing. When the player obtains the first decorative game item in the dungeon, the permissions for the decorative column can be opened. Sutingyu clicked on the decorative column, and this line of text appeared, and she understood what was going on. This decorative column can currently hold 6 ornaments. There is no need to take out the ornaments inside. Just a thought can exert the function of the ornaments. This decoration is quite strange. The props in the inventory must be taken out to be used, but the accessories are not. Sutingyu put the bathing fire beads on and was not in a hurry to experiment. She was staying in the haystack now, but she didn't want to burn her hiding spot with a fire. Explosive projectiles, time bombs. Can they also turn into the last inanimate object that was touched before the timer? I lost it? Good stuff. This is simply a sinister weapon. Sutingyu's little mind suddenly flooded with a lot of ways to use explosive projectiles to instigate people. Huh? What is this conch from the deep sea? Sutingyu looked at the information underneath the item. Props, conch from the deep sea. Grade, none. Function, players who carry this prop will be invited to 20,000 leagues under the sea as a guest. Usage, disposable. Note, legend has it that conchs from the deep sea can hear songs from the deep sea. Inviting players into the dungeon, why does it feel like a token? It is a token of entry into the professional dungeon. Sutingyu didn't know which career dungeon it was as a token, but it didn't stop her from being happy. Suppressing her excitement, Sutingyu continued to check other items. Wow! There are actually materials needed to upgrade the sickle in here. Abyss meteorite, yellow spring water, the remnant fire of the netherworld hellfire, these rare materials seem to have been exploded from those 5-cup players. Sutingyu, who was extremely surprised, sighed when he thought of the 5-cup players. Who is to blame? Easy to mess with but not easy to mess with, irritate children on Children's Day. Not only were the materials for upgrading the sickle, Sutingyu also discovered materials that could be used to upgrade the stone tablet, the quality stone liquid and the soul-calming golden word talisman. She had seen these two materials in the mall. Not only were they expensive, but only level 5 players could purchase them. Sutingyu, who was poor and weak at the time, could only suppress his eagerness to try. Now it's good. With Bai's upgrade materials, he can provide Dehui with a more comfortable residence, prison. She is such a considerate and good host. Many of the little broken flowers in the inventory are still disobedient to discipline. These little broken flowers will eventually fall into Big Gray's belly. Just considering that Dehui had eaten too much, if there was an upgrade, the original bronze level stone tablet would no longer have any binding force on it, so Dehui's upgrade was also delayed. Now that we have the materials to upgrade the stone tablet, we can safely upgrade the Big Gray after the upgrade is successful. Summary of loot. Materials. A full meal of bread, 8. Colorless and odorless mineral water, 8. Type 92 pistol, 1. Type 92 pistol bullet box, 2. Large medical kit, 1. Large tool box, 1. Large camping bag, 1. Props. Beads in fire, 1. Explosive pellets, 5. Conch from the deep sea, 1. Material. Quartzite liquid, 1. Soul calming golden word talisman, 2. Care iron essential oil, 8. Abyssal meteorite, 5. Yellow spring water, 5. The remnants of netherworld fire, 1. After checking the information about all the trophies in detail, Sutingyu was so excited. There were so many good things, but she even ignored them. Where did those worthless 8 pieces of bread and 8 bottles of water come from? Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Kei. Chapter 170. On this end, Sutingyu was extremely happy. But some people are going to cry to death. In a purple alien space, a muscular man is lying on the ground with his eyes closed. Suddenly, the muscular man opened his eyes as big as copper bells and sat up suddenly. The muscular man gasped for air, and his right palm unconsciously touched his intact neck. The panel pops up and settlement is in progress. When the muscular man saw that after he failed to clear the level, the death penalty plus the failure penalty, and a lot of game coins and experience points were deducted, he felt so heartbroken that he couldn't breathe. When the muscular man went to see what game items were missing. Where is my bathing fire bead? The fossilized liquid is gone? The soul-calming golden word talisman is gone too. The last metamorphosis liquid and soul-soothing golden word talisman were the game coins that the muscular man had saved for a long time in order to upgrade a prop, and he redeemed them as soon as he reached level 5. Because there are still some materials missing, it hasn't been upgraded yet. Who knows, it's gone. Gone. No more. What's the name of that female player? The muscular man had a sullen face. He tried to recall Sutingyu's game nickname, but found that Sutingyu appeared too suddenly. At that time, he was thinking about how to escape and did not dare to get close to Sutingyu. Listen within 2 meters of the fish. When Sutingyu finally got close to him and stabbed him for seconds, even though the distance between the two of them was within 2 meters, it happened so suddenly that he didn't even have a chance to react, let alone remember to look up his game nickname. Grass. The muscular man hammered the ground in frustration. Fortunately, he had game currency to pay this time, otherwise he would have had to enter the punishment dungeon. At this time, the muscular man's panel has been settled, but he can't leave the purple alien space yet. Because he failed to clear the level and came out early, and this round of dungeon is still in progress, all players in this dungeon cannot truly leave the game until the dungeon ends. The player's body in reality will be stored in the purple alien space, and the player's consciousness will enter the copy. The body used by the player in the dungeon is based on the player's body after the defects have been repaired, and the body is copied to the same proportions in all aspects. Now that he cannot leave the purple alien space for the time being, the muscular man can only go to the water forum to pass the time. In addition to him, there are also some Happy Children's Day players who failed to clear the level and were kicked out. Now they are all complaining and swearing in the forum. A reward of 10 million cash and 10,000 game coins is offered. Whoever can kill Li Ji in reality or kill him 10 times in the dungeon will get this reward. Tisk, tisk, what are Li Ji doing? The true information in reality has been exposed, and you are still seeking death like this. If you don't seek death, you won't be Li Ji, haha. Shock, I was killed by a weak female player, and then I lost a piece of bread and a bottle of water. Add 1, can't hold back my laughter.jpg. Depend on, are you showing off like this upstairs? They were all killed, what's there to show off? Holy shit, the children inside are crazy, he just tore my hands off, it was so scary. Damn, that's too scary. I'll be angry with anyone who says children are innocent and cute again. I was exposed to the remnants of the netherworld hellfire and a token, and I don't know who picked it up. Damn, all my yellow spring water has been exploded. The muscular man found a few players who complained that they were killed by soft and weak female players, and asked about the appearance of that female player. After comparing them, he found that they were very similar to the female player who killed him. They are also hunter players in the 45th round. Then, they were asked if they had seen the female player's game nickname. Finally, hard work pays off. After asking the 5th question, the muscular man knew the female player's game nickname. Angel Sue. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 171. The 66th round of hunting ends and the 67th round of hunting begins. The 67th round of hunting time, 6 o'clock minus 6:20. Hunter players in the 67th round, 6601 6700 Dalbroach numbers. As the panel popped up, Sutingyu yawned, opened one eye, and checked the time. There are still 2 hours left before the second day of the dungeon begins, because the dungeon started at 8 o'clock yesterday morning. This round of event dungeons did not waste any time in time. Sutingyu was very sleepy. He was in a situation where he could be hunted at any time, and there was no one around him to watch him. He definitely didn't dare to sleep to death, so he could only sleep lightly for a while. However, Sutingyu also paid attention to the changes in the hunting list several times, but still did not find Qin-Chi or Fatty on the list. Many players don't dare to sleep for more than 10 hours, right? Those players whose turn is to be hunters still have the energy to search for prey. Such a doubt suddenly appeared in Sutingyu's mind. A dark basement. Bang, a right hand wearing a white glove grabbed a man's head and slammed it against the iron wall. Dash. The person who hit the wall immediately spat out blood mixed with saliva, which flowed down his face and down his chin, looking very disgusting. The people behind saw this and let go of their hands in disgust. Without any support, the person who hit the wall fell softly to the ground, breathing weakly and with only the slightest rise and fall in his chest. "Where's that panda doll?" the man wearing white gloves asked condescendingly. "Run, run," an invisible voice sounded. The man's eyes were cold and cruel. When he heard this answer, he even mocked, "Trash." He tried to capture his prey, but instead he drove it away. The man stepped on the neck of the man on the ground. There was only a clicking sound of bones shifting, and the person on the ground stopped breathing completely. After picking up several game items that fell next to the body, the man took off the white gloves on his hands and threw them next to the body. He didn't leave in a hurry. He took out a pair of clean white gloves from his inventory and put them on slowly. The man walked out of the basement in a few steps. On the walkway, white lights illuminated the man's head. He was tall and slender, with perfect proportions. He had a handsome and cold face. His well-defined and delicate facial features revealed a sense of mystery of aristocratic blood. His natural cold white skin made him even more, no flaws can be seen at all. The aura around the man was very cold. Those eyes, as deep as ancient wells, remained calm even after killing a person with his own hands, as if they had been frozen for thousands of years without melting. Out of the basement, there is sunshine outside. The man paused, took out a pair of black sunglasses and put them on, then slowly walked out of the darkness. Hunting list. First place, I will scum you in the next life, 350 points. Second place, Guoshi Wushuan, 320 points. Third place, He, 320 points. Fourth place, Invincible is Too Lonely, 310 points. Fifth place, God's 2 Seconds, 310 points. Sutingya glanced at the kill list and then looked at it again. Huh. It's not right. Who is this he? Why did he suddenly jump to third place? The other top 10 game nicknames have all been on the list before. In the recent rounds of hunting, no new game nicknames have appeared in the top 20. Sutingya checked the time. There were still 5 minutes left in the 67th round of hunting. Is it strange? This Ha is the hunter player in this round. It's almost been a day, and he is still so energetic to search for prey. This is too fierce. Sutingya secretly remembered this game nickname. The update will be very late, you can watch it during the day. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuan K. Chapter 172. Da-da-da. A fat, short duck stuffed animal hid in a dilapidated warehouse in a panic. The duck turned his head left and right and found that there was no place for him to hide in the warehouse. It's over, it's over. The duck doll was so anxious that it almost jumped up. Hey, the little duck is running here. A thin and enchanting male voice sounded at the door of the warehouse. Hearing this sound, the duck doll's skin crawled. A white-faced man with layers of white powder and heavy makeup on his face twisted his waist and came in. Little duck, just surrender and capture him. I can strike faster and I guarantee that you won't feel the pain of death. The white-faced man pinched his orchid fingers and made a pretentious sound. You. The duck doll hesitated for a moment and then said, a grown man like you, are you worthy of your parents? To be honest, at first he thought he had met a female ghost in the blue sky. Who knows, it's a man. You. The white-faced man was so angry that his orchid fingers trembled violently, and a layer of white powder fell off his face. You wanna die? The white-faced man tore off the mask of hypocrisy and stared at the duck doll with vicious eyes. The duck doll's eyes were darting around, trying to find a chance to escape when the white-faced man was furious. Just when the white-faced man took a step and was about to tear the damn duck apart, the half-open warehouse door was kicked open from the outside. The man walked in against the light, wearing a pair of black sunglasses on his face, with one hand inserted into the pocket of his suit trouser, and the other hand hanging casually by his side. In the warehouse with insufficient light, the white gloves on his hands were particularly special. Conspicuous. "Who are you?" the white-faced man asked in a high-pitched voice. Hearing the harsh sound, the man frowned, and when he caught a glimpse of the thick layer of pink on the white-faced man's face, a trace of disgust flashed in his eyes. He didn't talk nonsense. When the white-faced man was still angry that someone had intruded, he quickly and accurately kicked the pink face that made him feel sick. Boom! The duck doll was so frightened that he sat down, and then an unidentified object flew over his head and hit the wall behind him. Immediately afterwards, a figure walked past the duck doll, seeming to completely ignore the latter. A dagger quietly appeared in the man's hand. Just when the white-faced man left the intimate contact wall, there was a sound of breaking through the air from behind. Before the white-faced man could turn his head, a dagger was inserted straight into the back of his head like a dart. The white-faced man didn't even have time to use the props, so he died suddenly. Solved 1. Besides, the man turned his head and was about to find the duck doll. "Boss!" the duck doll screamed in surprise. Instead of taking advantage of this opportunity to escape, it actually ran towards the man who was a hunter player. The man's brows were slightly furrowed just now, and this silly voice sounded a bit familiar. The duck doll restrainedly stopped 1 meter away from the man and said excitedly, "Boss, are you joining this game too? It's so fateful, boss." "Who are you?" There was a dangerous look in the man's eyes behind his sunglasses. If this little duck couldn't give a reasonable explanation. "Boss, I am your driver, Fatty. Fen Nan Bei Feng Fatty. A few days before I entered the dungeon, I also received a call from Special Assistant Chi." The duck doll chirped a lot, trying hard to prove it. Own identity. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 173. Hearing this, the man's eyebrows relaxed a little. Seal the North and South? Some impression. He is also one of the few drivers who can be remembered by him because he is too fat. The man looked at the duck doll and said, "What's your number? How many points have you got?" The fat man was a little confused when he heard this, but the person in front of him was his boss, so he answered honestly, "Number 2222, got 40 points. The fat man only got points. He didn't dare to kill a living person, so he never got any other player's game items. 40 points? It's a bit lacking, but it's not a waste either. When the man saw that there were only 2 minutes of hunting time left, he gave up the idea of continuing to hunt other players. After picking up the game items dropped by the white-faced man, the man endured misophobia and picked up another black garbage bag on the ground, put the fat man in it and carried it away. The fat man looked confused. "Boss." The man's thin lips opened slightly. "Shut up, if you make any more noise, I will kill you." These words immediately frightened the duck doll inside into a ball and did not dare to squeak again. Copy the next day. The 98th round of hunting ends and the 99th round of hunting begins. 99th round of hunting time, 1700 hours minus 1720. 99th round hunter players, 9901 10,000 doll brooch numbers. After the panel popped up, a panda doll hiding in the trash can twisted its body slightly, but not much because there was a lot of garbage pressing on it. At this time, a glowing figure appeared next to the trash can. After the white light dissipated, the man's entire figure was revealed. If Sutingyu were here at this moment, he would definitely run over happily, blink his big eyes, and call Chin Chi affectionately. The man paused on the spot for a few seconds. He thought of the male player in the 67th round, who was sharp and fierce, as if he knew exactly where he was hiding without any hesitation. Is it a special professional talent? Or is it the function of props? This round is his time, and he doesn't know if he can meet that person again. Thinking of this, The man stepped away from here. Sutinyu slipped back into the pig shed. Why did you sneak back? Because she had been hiding for so long, she was finally discovered by a hunter player. Fortunately, there was an escape tunnel dug earlier. Sutinyu ran around in the pasture, dealing with the hunter player, and survived this round of hunting. In this round of dungeons, it was difficult for players to communicate and transfer information. Sutinyu was not afraid that the player who failed to catch her would turn around and leak her hiding place to other players. This kind of cheap thing is not something that anyone with a good relationship would tell others about. As for whether it was a coincidence that she met a player with whom she had a good relationship, and it was a coincidence that the player with the last number had not yet had her turn to be a hunter, Sutinyu thought that her luck would not be so bad. Sutinyu made a habit of browsing the kill list, but unexpectedly, he got something this time. Qin-Chi is on the list. Sutinyu looked at Qin-Chi's ranking in surprise. After a while, the points increased and the ranking climbed up again. It is now the 99th round. We can determine Qin-Chi's approximate number, which is almost among all the players. Finally, at the end of the 99th round, Qin-Chi's ranking stopped at 7th place. Wow! Awesome, my 7. Here, Sutinyu was happy for Qin-Chi's high ranking. On the other side, no one was found. Qin-Chi, who had merged back into the doll, felt a little depressed. He raised the panda's paw and touched the missing panda's left ear on his head. Next time. I was confused. Some data in the front of the copy were wrong, so I corrected it. Well, it won't affect the plot later, okay. Monthly ticket adds more chapters, 2 chapters. I didn't expect that the monthly ticket would reach the amount of extra updates. Well, I have to fill the hole I dug on my knees.